Alright, so hopefully that helped us right there. I just changed the title of the live stream. So we're going to go ahead and go live. We just got two tornado warnings issued for areas of Marion and Franklin counties here. These are both issued from Birmingham and Huntsville, and they are not set to expire until 3:45 a.m. this morning. This is a very dangerous supercell that is beginning to move into our coverage area. This supercell does have the history of producing tornadoes. It was very long track back in Mississippi, produced multiple tornadoes, and that does continue. Not not very strong rotation is within this. I'm seeing more of a wind threat, but regardless, the National Weather Service, for precautions, has already issued a tornado warning until again 3:45 a.m. for both Marion and Winston counties. I'm going to go ahead and call out some town names. If you are living along Interstate 72 heading into Highway 78, you need to be getting off that highway immediately. If you're traveling along Interstate 22 going north into County Road 19, traveling near Hodges and Vena, going towards Hackleburg, you need to also be seeking shelter now. If you are a resident of these areas, run to a safe place now. You do not have time to diddle daddle. Now, the good news is, National Weather Service again has issued this a good lead time of 20 to 30 minutes, giving you enough time to run to that safe place, gather all your things that you need, a charged phone, a weather radio. You can keep us with you. Of course, if you can, bring a bicycle helmet, put on some shoes, put on some clothes real quick. The sirens are likely going off for some towns ahead of this supercell. Again, let's see. We're going to read out the warning for you real quick. We're going to read the one in Franklin County. So the National Weather Service in Huntsville, Alabama has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Franklin County and Marion County in northwestern Alabama until 3:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 2:47 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Evergreen, or 7 miles south of Fulton, moving east at 30 miles per hour. This cell has the history of producing tornadoes across portions of central Mississippi. A tornado is possible, and of course, ping pong ball size hail. So that's going to be about this big, maybe a little bit larger, a little bit smaller, if you will. You need to be aware of that threat. Now that everybody's aware that, hey, there is a tornado warning in effect, y'all need to be, what would you say here? My brain just shut off on me. Y'all need to be heading towards your safe place immediately. There is frequent lightning going on with this, so do not go outside. Do not even, period, go outside to try to see this thing, because you're likely not. It's likely going to be rain wrapped, as most of them are usually going to be rain wrapped. The largest hail threat, as I say, would be near Tremont, Mississippi. This is again moving northeast towards the Vienna and Hodges area. So if you have family out there and they are currently asleep or not seeking shelter, be sure to wake them up and tell them that they need to be heading towards a safe place now if they haven't been already. I want to check our velocity couplet. So if we were to be seeing tornado genesis, or a potential tornado to develop, it would be right here in this area. And I can go ahead and try to find my paintbrush to kind of show you where this would be. You got those greens, you got those reds and greens kind of turning with height, and that is beginning to show up on the radar here. That general area of circulation will be moving northeast. Thank you for tuning in, Ian, and you have a blessed night. I will try to get the stream shared to others as soon as I can. But again, this general threat for a tornado continues to move northeast towards Tremont. This has a really big hook echo, if you will. It has almost too much mass in front of it that may hold it off from producing very many tornadoes at all. I'm thinking more of a damaging wind threat will go along with this for now, and of course that larger hail up to ping pong ball size is going to continue as well. Now that tornado threat can pick up, especially as we're going to say recycles. Right now, I believe it is going through a cycle where it's trying to get its act together. Once it pushes into the better environment, speaking of better environment, I do want to quickly look at our environment to get a better idea on what this supercell has to mess with. Essentially speaking, we spoke of the warning. We do have a tornado watch that's now in effect until 10 a.m. this morning for a couple tornadoes that are possible. Some could be on the stronger end. I cannot rule that out. All right, there we go. So we do not have a lot of what I call convective available potential energy out ahead of this storm. It looks to me that we have near 500 joules per kilogram of CAPE across much of the area, and CAPE is usually the energy that a supercell needs to kind of grow and strengthen. But one thing we do have is our lower level jet, which is our shear. That is allowing for the storm to have a lot more turning with height in the upper atmosphere. Just a little bit of a kick, almost like some dust thrown on it, to allow it to have tornado genesis. So that is, we're going to monitor this very closely. Of course, I'm having wonderful issues again with this radar. It's about every time we go live that it starts acting stupid. But if you have family out towards Tremont area, go ahead and let them know. They need to be seeking shelter. This is what we call the clear slot. And if you're in this clear slot, you know it's about to get down and get real, because usually that rain stops before the strongest part of the storm hits. This is what we call the hook echo. This is almost textbook, only if the hook echo wasn't so distraught, if you will, on radar. So, but this is where the main tornado would mainly be at. But again, there's just so much mass in front of this, it's really going to struggle to get its act together. But you can clearly see where a tornado is possible, and that would be right just west of Tremont. I want to try to track, let's see if I can get a general area of where that tornado rotation, if you will, is at. So just quickly bear with me. We will have a couple other of our team members joining us later tonight as they begin to wake up. This current tornado warning has a trajectory towards my hometown again. So that is something to keep in mind, that I may have to seek shelter again through tonight. And by the way, this is the appetizer. I would call this just the appetizer, as the main threat is going to be, again, this afternoon. As we head into this afternoon, there is going to be a lot of potential for many things to happen across northern Alabama. I'm not saying, again, like I said in our updates, I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm saying this because you need to be prepared. You need to be weather aware. You need to be ready. All right, enough blabbering. Let's talk about the warnings again. So if you're just now tuning in, the National Weather Service in Huntsville and Birmingham, Alabama has issued 2 tornado warnings, one in Marion County and the other in Franklin County. Both are until 3:45 a.m. This current supercell is moving at around 40 miles per hour. Ping pong ball size hail and the potential of tornado development does linger with this supercell. Another thing to mention, we're just now pulling this up. A severe thunderstorm watch, a tornado watch is in effect again until 10 a.m. this morning, for the potential of, again, a couple tornadoes here and there that could begin to develop ahead of the main threat this afternoon. So a tornado watch does continue to be in effect through this evening. a severe thunderstorm watch is not going to be included at all due to the amount of threats that we do have. I want to make sure that I don't have any questions. Alright, so up to, if you are currently sitting in, that would be Franklin County, a population of nearly 3,000 it could be affected, and schools up to 3 could also be affected, if I should say. Larger hail just southwest of Vina. By the way, a train horn is about to go off because we have trains that go by here. But if you live southwest of Vina, you're likely going to get that largest hail before any heavier rainfall, mind you, and frequent lightning before the main tornado threat moves over your area. I'm going to bring up a different radar source here called GR Level 2. This gives us a better idea where some of the rotation could potentially be at. Right now, we do have a rotation signature just south of Tremont, although this is currently off of what is actually going on. I should say, I'm going to make sure everything is doing all right. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have questions about your hometown, I'm willing to answer that. So hail size up to 1 inch is now being detected from the radar as we speak. I wonder if we have a camera out there that I can look at real quick. So I'm going to try to find one. No, it does not seem that we do have one out there. We got 45 minutes still remaining on those tornado warnings. And I'm just keeping an eye on multiple radar sources. So the good news is what I am seeing a trend with the rotation where it's beginning to weaken. Again, there's a lot of mass out in front of this whole entire supercell that is choking off the general couplet area, allowing it to be more of a wind and hail threat as of now. Now, a quick spin-up tornado, especially as it gets its act together and moves into North Alabama or northwestern Alabama. Once it gets better action going into it, better environment, better everything, then we can have a risk for a tornado to return. But this one does have the history of producing several tornadoes back in central Mississippi. It is already moving into northeastern Alabama. Or excuse me, northwestern. I'm choking up on my words here. I do want to mention an area of some stronger storms near Waterloo, Florence, and Cherokee are ongoing. You're probably being awoken by frequent lightning and a couple rumbles of thunder. But all in all, nothing concerning on that end. Maybe some smaller hail could be ongoing. I know if you are probably in Limestone County and you go outside, which I don't recommend, but if you go outside to try to look at the storm, you're probably going to see lots of lightning activity. Our environment is very heavy and pure for very good storms across the area. Let's see. Another couple storms to monitor as we go through the evening. This is not in our coverage area. Matter of fact, this is several miles out of our coverage area. But what this warning kind of tells me and what these storms are pointing to, more clusters will move into, good idea, Wesley, more clusters of stronger storms will move northeast into much of the area. Again, this is the first round. The breeze in the storm. Bear with me, folks, as I try to verify what's going on here. I'm not seeing potential debris. Hold on. We're going to try to search this up real quick and figure it out. There's a chance that there could have been a brief tornado that touched down north of Tremont, but right now, from my understanding, this looks more like noise than a tornado on the ground to me. Yes, this looks more like noise than anything. Now, this right here could be the larger hail. That's what that looks like to me. That could be some large hail falling, because I'm not seeing any rotation to my eyes. That could be larger hail right there. Just a larger hail fallout, if you will. I do not think a tornado is ongoing at the moment. Wesley, if you want to hop on and help out, we can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get you on so you can explain some important facts as well. Alright, bear with me, folks, as I grab Wesley into the live stream. Try to drag him in here real quick so we can have more eyes on the radar. Never mind. Alright, that's alright. Alright, so I do apologize for just a bunch of other stuff going on other than severe weather coverage. That's not what I like to do. We continue to watch this potential tornado threat that's beginning to move into now northwest Alabama. Heads up in Vina, as larger hail is likely going to begin to start falling here very soon. According to the radar, I'm actually curious. Let's see if we can find I forget what it's called. We can look at gate-to-gate shear. There's not a ton of gate-to-gate shear here. Alright. Wind shear. Now, there is a good amount of wind shear ongoing, especially out here. I'm sure if you're out ahead of this main line, we're likely going to see wind gusts as high as 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, non-thunderstorm wind gusts. And then, of course, that adds up to where some of those wind gusts could be from the thunderstorms. Let's see. 98, 100. I don't think that is reading right. I'm trying to find the potential for larger hail. And nothing is wanting to work, of course. Anyways, I'm just going to stop messing with that. Just note that ping pong ball size hail could be falling across the area. Alright, other tornado warnings are getting issued, and it just pinged into my ear, so that spooked me for a second. So there is thunder rumbling here at the studio. Again, that is from the storms likely up in Florence. Those storms could be producing smaller hail, but that is the least of our concerns. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we are covering two tornado warnings, one in Marion County and one in Franklin County. There we go. So two tornado warnings continue into effect to about 3:30, 3:45 a.m. this morning for radar indicated rotation, and again up to ping pong ball sized hail. So, Nick, what should I do? All right. Well, you should seek shelter, especially if you are in the warning area. If you haven't been already, move into an interior room, a closet preferred, maybe even I would prefer more likely a storm shelter or a basement, but if you do not have that, find a interior room of your building. If you're in a mobile home, get out of the mobile home. Get away from doors and windows as much as possible, and as we call it, center yourself in the most center part of your house. While you're doing that, make sure to grab the kids, make sure to grab the dogs, the pets. Uh, of course, grab some important. If you packed a weather ready bag, is what I would call it. Bring that with you. Bring us with you. Bring a weather radio, and your phone with you to have ways of receiving warnings, and wait in your safe spot until you are given the green light by either me or your local National Weather Service, which would be up in Huntsville. I would also recommend, as you're running to shelter, find a bicycle helmet, get some clothes on, get a jacket on, get some steel toe shoes on, or at least some nicely built shoes to keep your feet safe, just in case you have to emerge from the damage potentially. Of course, there's nothing on the ground, but there is potential. Welcome in, Wesley.
What's up?
Nothing much. You are live and hot with a mic, so if you got anything you want to say as you're joining in, feel free.
You want me to hop on?
Yes, sir. That's why I was
Okay.
calling you.
Okay. Well, send me. What do I need to get on?
Uh, if you don't mind just watching radar.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
All right. Perfect. And if you got any pointers that you would like to mention, go right ahead. You were talking about that potential debris. I think that was more of just noise coming from the radar.
Oh no! Come to find that it was a brief touchdown.
Okay.
For a minute, and so it was a brief touchdown, and now it's just noise.
Okay.
Hmm.
So the the velocity couplet was stronger earlier
Yeah.
before
Hmm.
we went live, and I just didn't see it.
And that's moving. That storm's moving towards you, so you may want to be careful.
Yep, I'm aware. 2 inch in size hail could potentially be falling with this supercell now. So, with that being said, even though we're not seeing a tornado, or we couldn't be seeing a tornado anyways, larger hail and, of course, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour could be ongoing with this threat. Now, a tornado warning does continue and is still in effect until 3:45 a.m. Central Daylight Time. That being said, tornado potential is still there, and you need to be on high alert.
Hmm. Yep.
Let's see here.
That sounds about right. And the main, this is kind of a repeat of 2011, where you had the storms in the morning produce a bunch of damage and power outages. Everybody thought it was clear. And then you have the nastier storms, which are still expected this afternoon, and it could be ugly out that way this
Absolutely.
afternoon. Hmm.
And I completely agree with Wesley on that fact. While I'm not a big fan on comparing severe weather threats, this one right here is definitely and certainly almost to the point. It's like a twin to April 27, 2011. But reminder, April is where we see the largest severe weather threat. This is March. We are at March 15th, 2025. It's rare.
Yep.
It's not rare. It's not uncommon, but it's just odd to see a higher threat like this in March. With this being said, we've had high risks in the past with people constantly saying that it could be like April 27th of 2011. Well, this is a similar situation, but we know we have more confirmation. There we go. That this is going to be an event that needs to be treated with heart.
And there's still more storms back to the west. So,
Yes.
and this is for just the morning round, which is why the watch goes till 10 in the morning.
Yep.
Because there's more storms out west that are move in, and because you guys had a lot of sunshine today, you have a lot of
Absolutely.
instability,
The
and the
only
dry
thing
line
that
is
could
pushing east.
The only thing that could hold these storms back, which looks like our cap has probably eroded by now, but the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that can hold these caps, or these storms, if you will, is our cap. Our cap is where warmer air sits in the upper atmosphere. Again, it kind of lays as a blanket, allowing for storms to stay sub severe. But with the severe weather threat as ongoing, it does seem that our cap has eroded enough to allow storms to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Continuous
Yep.
rumbles of thunder uh, is ongoing just outside of my house,
Mm-hmm.
so don't be startled by that. But again, if you are out in Lauderdale and Colbert, even Limestone and Lawrence County, you're going to likely get woken up by a lot of frequent lightning and rumbles of thunder. And of course, I'm hoping and praying that many of you are awake in Marion and Winston County. Now, I did forget to mention Hamilton, you're not in this tornado warning. This is more towards, again, areas of Hackleburg. If you're west of Hackleburg, you are in this ongoing tornado warning until again 3:45 p.m. We have about
A.M.
yeah a.m.
3:45
Sorry,
a.m.
sorry. Thank you.
It's all right.
So until we have 30 more minutes on these warnings, and if it allows me, we can do a track on these. So about these are moving about 40 miles per hour, I would say. Is there a central area within this supercell that you're watching closely? Oh, I believe.
Well, what'd you say?
I said, is there a area that you are watching within the supercell closely?
Just the hook. I'm looking at it on my cell phone. Just the hook. But again, there was a brief spin up, it looks like maybe 15 to 30 minutes ago, and it has since dissipated. But
Okay.
that storm, all the storms tonight to the west and to the northwest have overperformed. There's been a tornado outbreak in St. Louis, down the Jonesboro, Arkansas area, and those storms still have yet to move to the east yet.
That's
So
correct.
there's still storms that you have to deal with, and those could cause a lot of damage this morning,
And
as
like
they
we
already
said, this
have.
is the first round out of uh, multiple rounds that will be going through this afternoon. But starting from, I would say 11, no, I would more say around 12 p.m. through 7 p.m. That is our second round, but there's going to be multiple different areas, um, what I would say supercells that will move through the area. This is potential, and it's more expected at this point as the forecast has been right on with it. You want to say anything about that, Wesley? Let's see here. If you're just now tuning in, a tornado warning continues to be in effect for Vina and Hodges going into Hackleburg until 3:45 p.m. for radar indicated rotation and ping pong ball size hail. Go ahead and be seeking shelter if you can.
Yes, that storm is intensifying, by the way.
Okay,
I'm not sure if you can tell, but
I can.
that storm is intensifying. There's so much energy out that way to be worked with at the moment. Early this morning, and I know we're going to have a busy afternoon with some of the other members joining in later. But
Absolutely.
from early this morning here, it's 4 o'clock in Alabama. It's 3 o'clock here, where in my time. But this storm is intensifying, and what we're going to do is, as I'm looking at this from the Columbus radar, it's doing a terrible job. I think the Columbus radar might be down because
Yeah,
I'm getting a
I
oh, there we go.
believe
It's better.
I believe there
Yep.
is an area of circulation, I would say just west of Hackleburg, riding along County Road 19. Is not very notable on radar, but I will say GR level 2 is notifying of that.
Yes. Right. Yes. North of the Bear area, there is rotation. Also, by the
Severe
way, there's
thunderstorm
that new
warning.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I was about to say.
So a severe
Warning.
thunderstorm warning has been issued to replace that tornado warning, I believe,
Well,
because
part of it.
they allowed the tornado warning to expire.
Well, the tornado warning is now for Franklin County, by the way.
Yep,
So, tornado warning is for Franklin County with a rotation located near Hodges, moving to the northeast, and should be in Lawrence County within the next hour. If
absolutely.
I'm taking, because the storm is moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. These storms, when they were in Mississippi, were moving 60 miles an hour, so they've slowed down.
Yeah, that's with
Uh,
the environment. We have a very moist environment. I believe that has an influence on that.
Watching the storms though in the Birmingham market, um, near Millport and Fayette, because those will move into the Huntsville market toward Double Spring and Coleman County within the next 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, these are moving quicker. They're moving up to 60 miles per hour near Fayette and Vernon. And like you said, these will be moving into the Huntsville market here within the next several hours. That would include areas of Winston, Coleman, Lawrence, and Morgan counties. Or I would say around 4 or 5 a.m. Wesley.
Yes, right around. Well, it's 4 o'clock there, so it'll be 5 or 6 in the morning.
Well, no,
Those.
it's 3:19 here.
Oh, that's right. Everybody's on Central Time.
Yep,
My bad.
you're
So
good.
yeah, around 4 to 5 in the morning, they'll be moving that way. And by the way, the tornado outbreak is continuing. I'm looking up further up the line. There are tornadoes on the ground right now in Indiana.
Indiana. So if you do have family out in Indiana, there we go. Go ahead and be letting them know that hey, there is a severe weather outbreak up there, tornado outbreak, more known, and that they need to be paying attention closely. But more closer to home, again, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect now until 4 a.m. And let me go ahead and read this warning out to you. The National Weather Service in Birmingham, they just issued a new one as well, so I'll get to that one here in a minute. The National
Yep.
Weather Service in Birmingham, Alabama has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Marion and northwestern Alabama until 4 a.m. as ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gust is being noted by radar. You need to be seeking shelter if you haven't been already. Of course, many of you probably have been since there's been a tornado warning. I believe what they're doing is replacing those tornado warnings with severe thunderstorm warnings for now.
I don't tornado warning in Franklin County is going to
Yeah,
be replaced. Storm just got nasty. We're getting a tornado vortex signature on radar now.
okay.
Uh, that storm intensified pretty quickly.
The tornado
So,
warning was just dropped in Franklin.
oh crap! I don't know why they did that. Cause what this is showing isn't good.
I
So
think
I
some
don't.
of the Roddle, the excuse me, I can't talk tonight. I think some of the radar is behind, like by a lot. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we are having issues with radar tonight.
Yeah, but this is the latest scan. They may issue a new one toward Hackleburg and Hodges.
Yeah, I agree. That area right there,
That
especially if it can allow, it can kind of push that hail out of the way. It really will get its act together. That's an area that we do have to watch. I do want to mention again, a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Franklin. Hey Wesley, can you do me a favor and start posting this onto the page?
okay, sure.
I appreciate that. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Franklin counties and parts close to very close to western Lawrence County for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning is in effect until 4:15 a.m. and this current line is moving around 37 miles per hour. So these severe thunderstorm warnings for now are replacing the tornado warning that we had earlier. Now, I do want to mention me and Wesley are closely monitoring an area near Hackleburg that could potentially start to rotate. And I need to find that on radar here. So if you are living near Hodges, going towards southeast of Vina, I usually can say that, but apparently not tonight. There's an
Oops.
area that we're going to be watching. It's not showing up on radar very well. And that's where I think GR is kind of messing with us. But there's an area that we
Uh,
need to closely watch near Hodges.
It's possible, but I'm looking at it on two other sources, and quad weather has it even stronger than GR, and V3 is acting up. So,
Okay. Yeah, that makes
um,
sense. V3 is always acting up in terms of coverage. So,
and I have some other sources I'm gonna pop up. Give me just a second. Oops, I just knocked something down.
and to
So,
help and to help spread the word, feel free to go ahead and share this stream to different areas so we can help keep others weather aware and
it's
safe.
okay. I'm gonna look at Huntsville's radar because Columbus's radar is not doing a good job with that supercell we're tracking
Okay.
in Hackleburg. And I mean, even Huntsville's is not doing a good job. I don't
Well,
know what the
Huntsville is farther out. That is a big reason why it's struggling, if you will, because Huntsville radar is farther out. And by the way, up to what is that? Half-dollar sized hail has been observed over the Red Bay and Vienna or Vina area. Also, as we speak of that, gusty damaging winds is appearing on radar now as we speak. I'm about to switch to a different radar because WSV3, as you said, is messy. But east of Red Bay, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour could be ongoing. We could also continue to watch the potential of potential spin up. That's a lot of potentials, Nick.
well, I'm looking. I'm trying to see this. Oops. I guess my quad weather is now has gotten an update, but okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to look at this from a different perspective on a high resolution next ray radar here. I'm not sure. You can't put. You don't have quad weather.
I do not.
Put this up. Okay, yeah, quad weather is showing a debris ball
Well, that's not right because there's no rotation going on. Not
near
very well.
to the west of Hodges. Oh no, there's rotation in it, but the problem is these two radars are competing with each other, so it's missing. The only way you would know if there's something in there is if they had ground truth, because the storm's rotating.
That's true, and we so that's going to be an issue throughout this afternoon. Luckily, we're going to be covering all of this during the daylight hour frame, which will give us some benefits. But this afternoon, folks, I cannot stress it enough. You need to have multiple ways of getting warnings. This is just the appetizer. Just
Yeah,
the
they're
appetizer.
they're going to issue a new tornado warning.
Absolutely.
That's
Okay. Uh, Speaking of tornado, uh, there's likely so we have this tornado watch until 10 a.m. later this morning. A new one will likely be issued, and it will likely be called or considered a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch, which that means strong to violent tornadoes, long track, are possible throughout tomorrow afternoon. Not saying that again to scare you, but I'm trying to say that to keep you a heads up on what is up next and what we could potentially see throughout the afternoon, if you will.
well, I'm trying to see what all we're getting. Some other media outlets do think there's a tornado on the ground in that storm, by the way.
All right, which ones would you mind?
Specifically, this is now moved into the Huntsville market, but DRC just said it a while ago.
All right,
Um,
let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and close. Well, I'm gonna keep WSV3 open for reasons, but I'm gonna switch radars real quick. So
Because
we
that over just doesn't look good. Ugh. See, the problem is I can't tell if this is debris or not. So the problem with this area is that the radars are terrible in Alabama in this specific market. They're not
so
doing.
it's in a certain area that it could be inflow to the storm, but it could very much well be a tornado on the ground as well. So from what I'm seeing now using reflectivity. Oh wait, hold on.
I don't know why they don't have a tornado warning on it. Even the severe thunderstorm warning doesn't say tornado possible.
That's kind of dumb. They just issued a special weather statement for northwestern Winston counties. What's the point of doing that? Anyways,
They must be asleep. What is this? Birmingham and Huntsville.
Birmingham is the one that has Winston County.
Okay, I'm not worried about Winston. I'm
Well,
talking about
that is
Frank.
coverage area. That Winston County is our coverage area.
Okay, but I'm talking about where the severe thunderstorm warnings are. Franklin and Marion County. Who? What weather services are those? Birmingham and Huntsville.
You said Franklin.
Franklin and Marion counties.
Marion is Birmingham. Franklin is Huntsville.
Okay. I don't know what they're looking at because when this gets to Lawrence County, there's going to be some issue if they don't catch it now because then we need to watch that storm north of Hamilton because that's now trying to hook.
Yeah, right now with the correlation coefficient, which, by the way, the correlation coefficient is our debris tracker. We call this tells us if there is. Wesley, can you better explain it because I'm having a brain fart.
It shows you where particles that aren't rain or hail are being lifted up into the atmosphere 5 to 6, maybe even more feet than that.
Thank you.
So when you get a drop, which is the yellows or the blues, that shows you where debris, it could be trees, it could be shingles, it could be someone's house, are being lofted into the atmosphere and it's being picked up by the radar.
And usually sorry, not to interrupt you. Usually right here, this would be declared as a CC drop. But as I speak right now, this is inflow. This is what I'm seeing. It's inflow heading into this area. So that is just wind being picked up going into the supercell. But what that also means is that this could try. It has the potential.
And I want to say this. All of these thunderstorms aren't even the main line coming in later this morning. That's still way back toward Memphis. It's still developing, and that main line that'll be coming in later is currently producing the tornadoes in Indiana, and produced the tornadoes in St. Louis. Now, this is a very special type of setup because this is not something that the Deep South typically deals with like we do here in Texas, and that is a dry line. Typically, these dry lines would stay in Texas, but this year it's different. The dry line is pushing all the way to the east to where we had a dust storm here today again
And
for the second.
wildfires too.
We had dust storms and wildfires here in Texas and Oklahoma this afternoon, and this is all the same storm system, by the way. So there's multiple hazards, fire danger, and a historic tornado outbreak.
And
Now,
Wesley,
what I
I'm gonna interrupt you real quickly here. I want to talk about the severe thunderstorm warning up in Franklin County for Russellville and Phil Campbell. Just 1 second, and I'll let you continue. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 4:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time for Franklin County. Now, we originally were live for the tornado warnings. These were switched over to severe thunderstorm warnings. We are currently monitoring the chance of maybe a new tornado warning getting issued here near Hodges. That's beside the point. I want to talk about this current severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and half-dollar size hail are possible and expected. The hail has already been measured by reported by emergency management. So hail damage to vehicles is expected, and wind damage to roof sidings and trees could also be expected. Remember, a tornado watch does remain in effect until 10 a.m. this morning for north central and northwestern Alabama. For your protection, move into your interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Be advised that torrential rainfall is occurring with this storm and may lead to flash flooding. So do not drive through flooded roadways. That is what we're reading from this warning. And yes, this storm is moving somewhat at a slow pace. I think it's beginning to move up to, did I read it out?
I saw 35.
Yes, 35, and it is producing near quarter-sized hail closer to $half size hail in Hodges. That was earlier. So an additional storm is just south of Phil Campbell and moving northeast, capable of producing large hail as well. So that's that one that's in Phil Campbell at this time.
Yeah. Um, that whole thing, that storm in from Hackleburg on up, so the storm in Franklin and Marion counties is a supercell.
Absolutely.
It is trying to compete. You see the whole Screaming Eagles thing, looking on high resolution radar, maybe our graphical systems, whether it's V3 or GR or graphic system radars, isn't picking it up
Okay, heads
like
up. There could be an
radar.
area of rotation north of Hodges.
Yes, that's what I'm monitoring on high resolution radar, and it looks like that storm is the hail cores over Franklin. Hodges, I'd be concerned about some damaging winds, if not a brief spin up, because that is a hook arrow. Um,
Absolutely.
this storm is going to move toward Moulton very shortly, but then I'm paying attention to all these little storms because now I'm concerned for Alabama for these little supercells further down. Right now they're non-severe, but they're starting to hook. The low-level jet is over Alabama. It's kicking up. These are all supercells. The atmosphere is very unstable, even here on the graphic system, radar. All of that storm down toward Vernon, Winfield, to Fayette, those are starting to hook. Those will be moving into our coverage area in the next couple of hours. So there's going to be multiple tornado warnings this morning, I believe. And then we won't be done yet because there's going to be even more later. This is one of those situations where the morning convection is not going to stop the storms from later this evening from being like a beast. At least you would hope they would, but right now it doesn't look like that.
Another thing
For
ongoing from this current supercell, from what I was just looking at, a a a gust front is coming off of the supercell. That's not a surprise at all. We see that all the time. This could help influence other supercells or other cells around it to become more tornadic later this or goodness, I keep thinking it's evening time frame. Later this morning. Uh, but also another thing to mention, heavy rainfall is now being noted. Flash flooding is occurring in some areas through this evening. Flash flood warnings cannot be ruled out as we head into this afternoon and tonight. A flood
and
watch is in effect until 1 a.m. Sunday for up to 3 and 5 inches in some localized areas of 7 inches of rainfall possible. Go ahead, Wesley.
and Nick, it looks like you're going to get some rain here shortly.
All right, maybe some thunderstorms too.
The severe part or the tornadic part of the storm will stay south of you. But
I
you're going to get
believe
some
it's actually going to stay north of me.
because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from the way the storm's going right now.
The
But
storms in Phil Campbell have a better chance of impacting my area than
right, yeah,
the tornadic storm. But just a heads up, if you're out in Town Creek, again, as Wesley mentioned, Moulton, heading into Rogersville, Athens, Hazel Green, Meaderinville, Elkmont, Ardmore, go ahead, be keeping a close eye on these storms. If you haven't been awoken by any weather radios going off, because most weather radios will go off for not your county.
oh
But
yeah.
that's a good thing because that advises you that severe weather is close by and you need to be monitoring.
Well, believe this, Birmingham is about to go severe on some of those sales I was just mentioning.
Okay.
Um, because
Is
they're
that
looking at
is that monitoring
roads.
slack?
What'd you say?
Is that monitoring slack?
Yes,
Okay.
looks like Birmingham's about to go severe on some of those sales near Carbon Hill. So that's in the Birmingham market, and they're noting increasing rotation on them as well.
Oh yeah.
Because if you go further down, you see the hooks near Fayette, just to the south and east, south and west of Carbon Hill. They're starting to get some hooking on those storms, and I'd be paying attention to those
Yeah,
for
that's concerning for sure.
a couple of hours specifically. Yep, increased rotation on those storms.
I
I'm
will
looking at
mention
Velocity.
areas of let's see who was in that warning earlier. Woo! Thunder
Go
usually
ahead.
doesn't scare me that much, but that
All right.
was.
Yeah, I just heard that. I heard that.
Oh well. Okay. Well, we saw that jump on stream. Oh well. Okay, so I'm sure my parents are awake by that now. I felt that through my hands. Anyway, so
But yeah,
Hackleburg, you're still in a severe thunderstorm warning. Areas of Hamilton and Brilliant, you are not in a severe thunderstorm warning anymore.
come on. Let me look at storm relative. Oh, whoa. That's not good. So I think they're going to be watching an area of rotation near Vina, which is back into the supercell. And then the main hook echo area rotation is Titan here near Phil Campbell. I'm going to look at it on high resolution instead of just always looking at the graphic
And
system
and by the way,
radars.
usually we're not live for severe thunderstorms warnings this long, but since there's the potential of tornadoes throughout tonight, we're just continuing with live coverage because that is just the best choice, in my opinion.
How do I get it? I done missed it. Hold on.
My parents are awake, as I figured.
I just messed up the map. Hold on. I, on the radar scope, kind of messed it up.
You're good.
But anyway, so there's two areas of rotation there. Phil Campbell is the
Let's see. I
main.
need to.
One near Vina just dissipated, so I'd be watching that one near Phil Campbell. It could be hail, but looks like rotation on the storm relative velocity, and the base velocity showing. I wonder what the problem is with the radars tonight in this area.
Not enough maintenance. One thing I am seeing within this area, this hook, is lightning frequency. We're starting to see a pickup in lightning. That generally means that we could be seeing rotation within this supercell. And yes, by the looks of it, looking at velocity, Wesley, I do think we are seeing some rotation popping up now.
And not only that, there's little showers popping up ahead of this in Lawrence County now.
Yes.
Ugh.
So just a heads up, if you have family out in Russellville, or closer communities would be Isbell, towards Tharptown, Saints Crossroads, uh, Bethsaida, Seda, Bethsaida, you need to be letting them know that they need to be closely watching this. Uh,
It's Bethesda.
Bethesda. You need to be closely watching this supercell as a tornado could be trying to develop. I'm starting to see again lightning uptick. That's usually one thing that we use to note potential uptick in rotation, if you will. And then, of course, we are seeing something within the radar showing up now as we speak that could have the tornado potential.
Well, this is crazy.
All right, severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for. This is out of our market, but this is just west of Tuscaloosa. This, if it continues to strengthen and stay at its continuous goodness.
Yep,
If it
that's the
continues to stay
first.
at its strength that it's at, that is going to track into Winston and Coleman counties within the next several hours. So heads up there. Large hail,
Yeah,
damaging winds, and tornado potential all exist for it.
but as I said, those cells down there, the ones I was just mentioning a few minutes ago, all of those cells may end up severe shortly because they're fighting for the low level jet and the moisture. But there's a lot of moisture overhead. The temperatures are in the 70s. There's a lot of moisture
We
over.
might have had a tornado touchdown near Isbell, according to GR.
Yeah, that's very true because I'm looking at
It
that now.
just disappeared, but we could have very well had a tornado touchdown very briefly near Isbell, um, Alabama, or Franklin County area.
That's a report that came out.
Is the National Weather Service noting anything about that?
I don't see anything right now, but they may. I mean, the rotation's increasing right around Isabel, but
Again,
yeah,
like you mentioned, the radar is being absolutely
that
terrible.
and that's the Columbus radar though. So
Yes.
I want to, and the Huntsville radar isn't giving anything, but I mean maybe a little bit of some in there, but I want to see. Yeah, the Huntsville radar isn't good to use right now. It have to be Columbus.
Okay.
It'll have Columbus radar.
One moment, if you can take over real quick for me.
Okay, so we're looking at these thunderstorms here moving through. The only storm warnings we have, they're going to cancel that one, that severe thunderstorm warning in Marion County shortly, as that storm is moving to the northeast quickly. But the only really bad weather that we're looking at is here in Franklin County, near Isbell and up to Russellville and down to Franklin, with some hail and damaging winds. It looks like, from what I'm seeing here behind the scenes, the largest hail that we have is about an inch in diameter. So it's not something very large. And even looking here behind the scenes on other radars, the confirmed tornadoes are all right now still in Indiana, in the Evansville market area. So that's where the confirmed tornadoes still are. But it has been a long, long uh, weather with tornadoes in Lewis, tornadoes in Arkansas and Missouri. So we've had a tornado outbreak. There's already been, I believe, 20 or more tornadic reports this evening. And here we are, almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're tracking the tornado threat. And may I add, there's still more storms back toward the west. So if you don't get a storm now, trust and believe you're going to have another one. I can't give a.
Absolutely. And sorry,
Go ahead.
Wesley. I just got back. And with what Wesley is saying, I do want to quickly break this down. Since nothing extremely concerning. Now, there is still a tornadic potential south of Russellville. We'll speak about that one moment from now. But if you're in Russellville, that's a heads up for you. I want to break down our forecast models with you real quickly here. If I can get to them. Let's see. Okay, that's not close here. All right, so we're looking at the HRRR, which is one of our. What would you call this model? I guess you were. Let's see.
Short
Yes,
range.
short range model. So we got those storms at 4 a.m., which is pretty much right about now. They're heading into this area as we speak. Loud thunder, gusty winds, heavy rainfall, some larger hail, and then, of course, that tornado threat. That will continue again through 10 a.m., off and on showers and thunderstorms. But we'll have a clearing by 12 a.m. By that clearing, supercells are possible around 3 p.m. Those push east. That has, all modes of severe weather likely. And if I pull up a sounding here, we can look at the environment, and this is what we call the skew T plot, which is on the left hand side, and it has the almost like squiggly or spaghetti lines, if you will. Uh, that kind of tells us the temperature and the dew points with height in the upper atmosphere. It tells us a whole lot more in meteorological terms than just that. But what I'm seeing here is that there's going to be no cape throughout much, or excuse me, no capping throughout much of Saturday afternoon. There's going to be a lot of cape in the a lot of available energy in the atmosphere, and there is going to be a whole bunch of shear. This is what we call the hodograph on the right top right hand screen. Same thing. Everything just points out that today could be something in the significant range. Now, I have seen a little bit of downtrend on some of the supercells, but it's not by much. And I would not say that we're downtrending. I would say we're continuing with threats that we've seen since this started being talked about, if you will.
And I'm looking at Birmingham's radar on our storm, and Birmingham is the only one that's rotation. Columbus
I
isn't.
forgot
Um,
Birmingham had a radar.
the storm is severe still, but Columbus and Huntsville aren't showing anything. And Columbus is even saying the storm's weakened below severe limits. But
Yeah.
Huntsville is not. Huntsville's radar still says it's severe, but it's and Birmingham still has rotation in it. So Birmingham still thinks it's a tornadic storm. But it's so far away from Birmingham and Shelby County. So I don't know. But what I do think is Okay, the overview is there are thunderstorms moving through. Most are non-severe, but they could quickly become severe. Like I'm looking at some of these cells to the south. But what I think we should do, Nick, is actually get off for
Yeah,
now.
that'll be a good idea. So, I completely agree with Wesley. If you are trying to get a view outside, don't go outside. Ignore that. Tornado warnings are being issued up north. That's nothing compared to what we're dealing with here. Or, anyways, do not go outside to try to look at these storms. Frequent lightning is ongoing. I'm pretty sure cloud to ground lightning is ongoing with that louder rumble of thunder. But what we're going to do is head off for now. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for the next 27 minutes for Russellville
Yeah,
and Phil Campbell area. Go ahead.
the only within that is damaging wind now
Yeah.
being picked. I'm not getting rotation. Only radar again that's producing even the high resolution has pretty much said the storm is weakening right over Russellville right now. So it's
Correct.
falling. So that's it. I mean,
All
we
right.
can take up. There's still more sails to the west, and it's still a long day ahead. So we
Yeah,
got
we
a
got a
lot
long
done.
day. But with this being said, we're going to get off of the stream for now. If a new warning hit is issued, if a tornado warning is issued, you can expect us to be live here at Star 9 Alabama. Thank you for tuning in. Please do stay weather aware and do not sleep on today because today's severe weather threat is higher than we usually have. So be very, very cautious and have a blessed morning.